Good evening, Free Enterprise fans. Welcome to episode 8 of Survivor Hero Island. My name is Garen, the club captain and coordinator of this bit of silly fun. Joined here in the booth with Sheep Launcher, my co commentator, and also the OG co commentator of the first time we did a restream of this. How are you doing tonight, Sheep Launcher?
I can't be the OG of Survivor overall. That's a certain guy named Jeff. But Survivor Hero Island, I'm proud to be the OG. But really, you are the one, Garen, who really originated this club, and this is really a a fantastically weird flag set here tonight.
Yeah, it is a little bit different. So each of the flag sets, each character kind of has their own. There's some fixed objectives, there's some random ones in here. So in the case of Porum, the first five are actually the ones she was always going to have, no matter what happened with the seed. And the sixth one is the random one that rolled. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting to do dark matter hunts on at least a couple heroes. So this one was given to Porum because, she's a little bit of a goody two shoes. Thinking of dark matter sounds like kind of something she'd do. It's like, let's get rid of all the dark matter in the world, make the world a better place, and liberate Baron Castle because, well, I mean, she got stoned there. So it's like, it seems appropriate to have her back in Baron. Breaking the Dark Elf spell with the Twin Harp seemed like, again, nothing that Porum would like to do. And completing the Giant of Babel. Well, she was there at the airship and wanted to help, so why would we give her a chance to help?
Yeah, you want her on that wall, and you need her on that wall, and in Cave Magnus, and in Baron Castle, and in the and in the Giant. We need to do 5 of these 6 objectives in order to win the crystal, in order to take on Zeromus at the end. So, really, Garen, it'll be the two kind of uh, toughest objectives, it looks like to me, are completing the Giant of Babel and taking those 30 dark matters. Do you think it's going to come down to which one players want to complete?
The thing about Dark Matters is, I mean, if you want to do it, you probably have to commit to it early and do a lot of looting because if you decide to wait until halfway through the seed and then realize, okay, one of these is tough, let's go for Dark Matters, then you're doubling back to all the places you've already been to catch the chests that are a little out of the way, let's say. Because just the regular looting, it's like you might get maybe 10 to 15 of them in the ordinary course you're going to do. But the other ones, you're going to have to be a little bit more attentive to it to get them all.
Yeah, and with
Uh,
no sirens in the seed and the no experience on, uh, XP is going to be hard to come by. So uh, these players might be forced into some early looting whether they want to or not.
yeah, with party size 4, I mean, there's no chance of slingshotting anybody either because that mechanic won't work either. So yeah, my racers apparently have a thing against experience. I don't know why, but I'm here for it. Just to go down the other elements of the flag set, we don't have a pass, so they're gonna have to go down the long way to Zeromus no matter what. The hook route is forced. KM's gonna be at the main and the moon spots. They have been very studiously avoiding turning on anything relating to summons or boxes, which are both options, but none have been selected yet. We don't have Cecil, Tella, Edward, or Sid in as possible characters. Edge and Fossoy are restricted. Uh, Characters are on buy, so if you say goodbye to them, you just have to call up again if you want them. Treasures are Wildish, max tier 6. And we've got a Witchburn on, as well as a random kit will show up in this as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
and the glitches, the life glitch is on. So if you catch those dark imps in a nice high experience spot, that could be part of the grind, as well as the back row glitch is on. But those character flags are interesting. We could be seeing a 4 party weak, really weak party. We could see something like a Porum, Yang, uh, and Rosa and Dark Knight kind of heading into ordeals, and then heading it, or not Dark Knight, I'm sorry. Um, we could be seeing something like Rosa Porum Young heading into that hook route, and that's scary.
It is potentially scary. I mean, you don't have a Cecil, you don't have a yeah, what am I thinking of there? You don't have a Tell who can get the big spells early. The saving grace is you're hoping that Fu maybe shows up at that hook route spot. 'Cause he can't show up at Baron Inn or at Mount Ups, but he can show up occasionally, and he's not voted out. So Fu will be part of this flag set the rest of the season. It might be the saving grace, only because as we saw last restreamed episode, Eddie was the one who was bonked off by Golbez because it came to a tiebreaker, and that was how the tiebreaker got broken. All right. But anyways, I think it's time to get this party started because we'd like to get the action rolling here. So, our producer, Joker Mage, the restreamer in the background, will kindly start things up. Let's get ready to call her doing the tracking behind the scenes. Remember, this is a VOD review. These aren't live races, kind of already over and done with, but it's still exciting if you haven't seen it before.
It sure is, and these runners are off metaphorically, and that Porum is joined by Rydia, as kind of black mage. Octoman gives the tower key, and we are glad to have you with us. 50 bestiaries.
Yep, so it's a bit of a joke start here as far as the random kit goes. They'll give you a little bit of money, but not a whole lot else.
Yeah, that is really about as bad as it could have been for these racers. Maybe, I'm sure some of them were hoping for 99 carats.
I believe there might have been 1 carat somewhere. I don't remember if there was one or not, but anyways, not the 99 carats. Not anything really terribly useful. They're off. We're going to get a check of, it looks like, a castle for the free treasury because, wait, that's right. Edward
and
is
the free
actually
key
still
item.
available.
Yes.
Right. Actually, I've made a little bit of a flag set twist there. If the racers want, oh, there's an adamant rock. Nice. If the racers want to turn on the pass, they have to turn off the free key item.
Ah, so that's
So
why the pass has never been turned on.
It could be one of the reasons why. So the Demonist Hunt is your price for easy Z access. As of course, if you find the pass somewhere along the way, it's probably going to be somewhere like the Masamune Alt we turn on. Because of course.
And a nice Lilith Rod and already 2 Dark Matters in that free treasury. Hey, there's a question in chat. Who is Corey? Corey is an astronomer. He, in the vanilla game, he checks out, he's the one who tells you that there are 2 moons kind of happening in the sky. He is an astronomer in a building in Agard. Agard is the place where you drop the magma key into the well. There's another building there. Once you collect 30 dark matters, you hand them into Corey. He says, thank you, and that objective gets checked off.
Yes, it is not a popular objective when it is turned on, but it can be the saving grace if there is something truly, truly horrid at, for example, either Giant 1 or Giant 2, which is just going to make you wish that you had possibly not run this thing.
Not a bad Damsian Castle basement either. A rune ring and a strength ring available there. Vampires for sale in Troya.
We had seen a Zeus Gauntlet, which is also useful if we get anybody who actually has physical damage in this race. Right now, we are on kind of Team Weak Sauce. We've got 2 children, and they don't have a whole lot of HP here.
No, they don't. And which does make those vampires very useful because they don't have a lot of attacking strength either. Vampires can be very useful in the early game just as a way to do some
there's an Artie Bow. That's a nice find there for Porum. It'll give her some nice agility for the early goings of this seed too. And we're just going to check out the front of Mount Hobbs for a summon.
And may check out the back of Mount Hobbs for more chests to get back here. Mage is the summon, which is really disappointing.
Yes, no character techno link. We have the free characters off, so nobody in Damsian Castle, Watery Pass, Mysidia or the front of Mount Ordeals.
Yep, you gotta earn them. And it looks like Narakad's going to head up the back of Mount Hobbs and see who is hanging out up here, both friend and foe. And you can tell it's a reality show up on Mount Hobbs because neither of them are there to make friends.
They've been trying to make friends, but when Golbez is around, friendships are kind of hard to keep together. There's always whisperings in the ear, betrayals, kidnappings, things of that sort that just kind of hurt friendships.
a nice big bomb, a nice J item in Damskin Castle as well. Also a headband if Yong shows up. That'll be a nice piece of headgear for him.
I think all of the 8 characters left in the seat are guaranteed to be somewhere. It's just a case of where are they, and is there more than one copy of them?
No dupes allowed in this flag set, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yes, there are no dupes allowed. That doesn't, but obviously there'll be some. Oh, speaking of Yong.
Yeah, that's a vanilla Yong, facing off against some flavor of guards, either Baron or Typo.
The nicer
set.
Typo guards. The Gaia Drum will take care of this in very short order. A big bomb will work too.
Yeah. Now, will that big bomb do enough to get rid of the officer as well?
Yeah, a little bit short.
And
that's a shame. Just let it go. Yeah.
Not a huge deal. Does get a little bit of experience, but the officer has the lion's share of experience in this position.
I think it was about roughly half of the experience in that location was lost, but it's early. There'll be plenty of opportunities, even with all the experience penalties going on here. PG Rich is going to find the same Yong, and will say yes, because we're not in the position to really turn down anybody at this point. We have a hook route coming up.
One dark matter on the backside of Hobbs. Narakad will take it. Whether or not it's worth the trip is an open question.
Yeah, we'll see about that. See if the runners head off to do more looting, or if they start trying to get some checks out of the way now.
And BG Rich using the Chocobo strat to try and keep that officer in place there.
It'd be easier if the Chocobo sat on the officer. That might work out better.
Well, then you need the fat Chocobo summon.
You got a whistle.
And BG Rich does take care of that officer, so we'll get more XP here. So BG Rich has an early advantage in levels.
We see that there's Illusions, Kamikazes, and Tor Rages for sale. I'm going to pick up the Tor Rages because they don't come standard in our pack here.
No, and Narakad is selling quite a bit in order to finance this trip.
Shout out to Tall Grant in the chat, one of the club runners, not featured tonight, but we definitely appreciate you being here to give us some hype for this race. And
Tall Grant hype! A Blitz Whip and a Change Rod. Some of the things in Fabool that might be of interest to our characters.
Still standard shops, so not too much good on the overworld in the armor and weapon shops. You can find some gems somewhere in there.
Well, Narakad will take this opportunity to defend Fabool. That's very noble of him. Especially when a Sparkle comes.
Fabool is being attacked by Doots.
It's the palest of dims.
Yes, we do have some Gaia drums. That might get us... Well, it won't get us all the way through it, but it'll do something.
It'll... Yeah, that would not be fun.
It's not going to be fun, to be honest, with listen to that inventory.
Yeah, and the Bestiary even even more useless against this Pale Dim.
Yeah, GP Toss would be more useful than that if we had it.
this is going to be slow in the best of circumstances.
And I think Yang is in the back row, which is not going to help the damage out very much here.
No. You need a back row weapon in order to utilize that back row glitch.
Yeah, unfortunately, Yang doesn't have any back row weapons under normal circumstances, and
No.
I don't think it's possible to glitch one in from where we are here.
But two Gaia drums gets Narat through.
Very good. There was a few levels on Rydia, but yeah, there's time. She can make it up.
So Narat passes the tower defense game. And will get rewarded.
The Dark Knight of Baron long ago left a crystal shield, which he couldn't equip. So apparently, Kabul is goodwill.
And apparently the king is just keeping a dark matter in a chest by his bed, which I have a lot of questions, Your Majesty. I have a lot of questions.
About the fact that he's a twin of the King of Evelyn.
Yeah. They just have the same barber, I think.
And the same tailor.
So both Narat and BG Rich skipping the Antlion Cave for now.
Well, maybe they're taking the gamble that the Antlion Cave can't possibly have value every single time we run this thing.
Cabins for sale, and Narat reaching deep into his pocket in order to fund this one again. 4 dark matters in Narat's inventory. That reduces to 2/15 of the dark matters that he needs.
At least 15ths are better played in this flag set than they are in music. If you try to play 15th notes in music, someone's going to smack you.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds dangerous. That sounds like something not even Uematsu could pull off.
I will get into that. But, Final Fantasy has some interesting music along the way. We're hoping to hear maybe some DJ Spoony B later on. It's
yes.
Actually, yeah, it is an objective today. Hello.
And BG Rich is through Pale Dim. The dude's not deterring him.
Yeah, there's silk webs for sale here. Also some Odin if we want to do some Zenitsukins on free enemies. There are some of them.
Yeah, there's fewer than there used to be with the Kaipo guards hanging out on Hobbs.
Very true. Speaking of guards, here is the vanilla guards in this spot. And it looks like we've got a Palom up there.
And so, this is an interesting little party here with 2 black... assuming Narat gets through here. 2 black mages, 2 twins, and a monk.
Indeed. It also raises an interesting question here. Do you go to mount ordeals for the levels, or do you skip ordeals knowing that it's 3 monster checks, we aren't doing any boss hunts, and nobody in the party can possibly benefit from the hero route, because no Tella, no Cecil.
Yeah, if you're gonna fade ordeals, this would be a really opportune time to fade.
We see that Mylon and Friends has shown up here in the second spot of the Baron Inn. Kind of a rude spot here, because that lit 1 is kind of threatening here in this location.
Yeah, it's a very slow spot, but Mylon will instantly counter with that lit 1, and the magic power is kind of high for this spot.
And the HP, unfortunately, of 2 of the 3 characters is pretty low. Nice dodge there for him. 1 HP is all we need.
And gets that Cure 2 off.
Yeah, now one of the issues here with the setup that I'm seeing with Narat is that Yang is in the back row, which kind of has to be because of the physical damage Mylon can pump out here, but that's going to make getting this down kind of slow, because 400 points a shot there, yeah, that's going to take about 8 or 9 hits at this point.
Yeah, so this is going to take some time. At least the gas are taken care of. Gonna try and power up with Yong here, but yeah, did not get the crit that time. This is gonna take a while.
Yeah, fun little random trivia fact, since we're talking about Mylon and friends. If you do take out Mylon first and leave the gas up, they turn into some of the most terribly physical smashers in the whole game, just because you've killed their master and they are very apparently angry when that happens. So don't let that happen to you, because otherwise it'll be a very bad day if they don't drop like right then and there.
If we're looking for little optimizations, by the way, BG Rich did pick up a dark matter in Silvera that Narat skipped. There were only 3 chest checks in Silvera. One of them contained a dark matter, so BG Rich has that in his pocket. Now BG Rich heading to Antlion Cave, where he found a glass hat and a Dragoon helm.
Glass hat is very nice for this kind of party. We don't really have anybody who has impressive defensive ability.
Yeah, a glass hat would really...
Would you like a protector to go with that glass hat?
Yeah, it would not help against the lit ones, but it would help against the clobbering that Mylon's doing here.
Speaking of clobbering, Porum just took one on the chin there.
Yeah. And so it is up to Yong. Will get himself back up to full health with that Cure 2, and can he win this damage race against a slow Mylon, but no other people to soak up the turns here?
This would be where a vampire would be kind of nice. Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, and this fight taking up a bunch of resources, it'll all be worth it if he gets through.
Assuming, well, we do want the Palom here, so that part is true. We've got Mist, who is not bonus round today, because yeah, the free item is on. And not the worst to see here, there's only 1,000 hit points.
No, and that Artie Bow mute arrow for him doing some work. And BG Rich is through.
That's a Luca key that could be value, since we don't have a warp glitch on. We do need that to get in there if we want to see what the item is. Form does not know exit yet, just 2 levels short. So, soon, just not yet.
So Rydia will warp out. And yeah, the warp glitch is not on. Is that right, Garen?
It is not on, and unfortunately, as BG Rich is finding out, when you have the using warp in Antlion Cave, it's going through all the doors in order, so it's not just 2 trips out here, it's gotta be about 4, so yeah. I've been faster to walk, but anyways, just quirks of how the game was programmed.
Narat hanging in there. Mylon being exceptionally stubborn here.
There aren't many places you can say that Mylon is truly a rude fight. This just happens to be one of them, especially early on.
And gonna use an illusion to try and soak up some of that damage.
Yep.
Don't know how far he is away.
You could say only about 1 or 2 more hits away. Oh, there we go.
And a good use of that illusion there gave Narat the cushion that he needed to take care of that. And now Narat has double Black Mage power and a pigtail.
Yes, which means there'll be an early Adamant armor on order here, because the Adamant flag is still turned on here. So, if possible, we need a hook to get underground. So, yeah. Adamant armor incoming, so get your popcorn ready for that.
An adamant armor, yeah, an adamant armor being equipped for a hook route with this party is so invaluable. really nice to see that Faintail and Narat spent quite a bit of time there, but it's all going to be worth it.
Indeed. And I think I can pretty much guess that this adamant armor is probably not going on either Yang or Rydia, unless Rydia gets a Blarg spell or something like that, because Rydia's Black Spell book is kind of lousy most of the game, and isn't really good summons yet.
And now Narat going to check out the Antlion Cave will encounter his D-Mist. BG Rich, meanwhile, trading spaces.
Yep, a little bit of tag teaming here in the early game. Those guards, oof, down they went.
Yeah, this is kind of a camp swap where, each runner gets to experience what the other runner has. And BG Rich is going to encounter this very not friendly Mylon.
Yep. Unfortunately, Toad is not going to work here. I mean, Chocobo will do a little bit.
Yeah, nothing Mylon hates more than being kicked in the face by a Chocobo. Pretty sure that's canon.
It's hard to tell because in the vanilla game, Rydia's not actually there when that when the fight occurs. I don't know.
And Narat showing the power of the twins already, gets a nice flare roll and takes care of D-Mist. And yeah, BG Rich finding these lit ones coming in fast and furious. Really strange to see how quick this spot is, because Mylon doing so many counterattacks, usually this spot's so slow.
Yang goes down, so that tier 2 is going to not fire. Okay, Rydia is a little bit down there, so we need this fight to end kind of soon here.
And so, you were saying earlier about fading mount ordeals. Doesn't look like it's on the table. We still don't have a hook.
This is true. I think we're out of checks at this point.
Yeah. So the changing room is going to have the hook or something that leads to it. Eda2s and Starveils for sale in Mysidia.
At the very least, Mount Ordeals isn't going to be the reason somebody wins or loses this race, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. It depends what's up there.
And that Artie bow connects for 8 damage, but it needs an arrow to really do better. But Mylon goes down. Oh my body. And BG Rich is through the first time of asking. So neither runner had... Mylon didn't make it easy for either runner, but they each make it through.
Right, and a little bit of shopping here. We find a wizard shirt. Okay. Wizard did it all the time. Remember that?
Yeah, well, since Mysidia is like right along the beach, would that be the Wizards of the Coast?
There's so many factions of wizards, you know. Who can say?
BG Rich immediately going for the whistle to sell. That's absolutely my favorite thing to sell in free enterprise. It just gets you so much money really for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time you find a whistle, it's like, this is worthless. Just throw it in the trash.
Except it's worth 10,000 GP to sell.
Unless we out of gold, apparently.
And so, ooh, we have dueling menus. Like dueling banjos. Look at those fingers pick.
We back with Palom. Okay, that's a thing. How much for him right now?
You never know. He'll be doing full damage with bonking with the change rod. Now that Palom on BG Rich's side is base level. Not too much better on Narakad's side. Only has the Antlion boss to show for it. So I don't even think either of these Paloms are their level 2 spells yet.
I think Nerocods might know Ice too.
Okay. But the first boss
And-
here will change that. And they are getting up to it remarkable similar time.
It is a split experience boss. Speaking of the seed that's already making it hard to get levels in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is really interesting. Like the EXP for this spot has to be split among all of the forms that Dr. Luge and Balnab can take, and you're never going to face and kill all of them in any one particular fight. So you're always bleeding EXP.
What color does EXP bleed?
Emerald green.
Green. Okay. I always thought it was blue, but that's just me.
Both using twin magic, a little bit more effective for Narakad. But now it's time for the real fight on both sides. You ever notice that Luge backwards is eagle? What do you think that's about?
Well, if you spell eagle like seagull, I suppose, but I always just thought they did have the letters get luggage in there. Alright, Nerocod is through.
And BG Rich is through. Both of them just about the same time. Narakad going to head back in. Cabin up. Nobody wants... And actually no poison stuck on BG Rich's side.
Lucky.
So gets to save that cabin animation.
Well, the antlion has gotten a little bit lost here.
Yeah, not in its typical place on the moon. Instead, sneaking up behind us. And this does look like something that would pop up out of the corner, out of the shadows in a haunted house. And just scare the dickens out of
Are you speaking from experience?
you. Oh yeah, don't talk to me about haunted houses. Can't stand them. Too scary.
I used to have fun with haunted houses back in the day.
And I was gonna say BG Rich has the disadvantage of having Palom down, but Porum really laying on the damage on BG Rich's side with that arty bow. Mute arrows, I think.
That I think is right, and that is the end of the antlion. Rydia doesn't get to partake in the experience here, but you know, we'll get her up at some point.
Well,
there's no benefit to leaving her on the floor.
No, but the better black mage may have appeared. You know.
The better black mage is usually Fu in the early game until Palom overtakes.
And just like I would finish my seafood feast by throwing the crab claw off the table, so the antlion claw falls off the side. Well, since it is a hero, Porum must encounter this herself.
With that arty bow, I'm not terribly worried about Porum being able to take this. I have a Baron key, though, so it's not going to be directly underground. We're going to have to go into that Baron castle first. Is
And
this even?
that is an objective, that Baron Castle. So, Baron Castle hard required.
Beechurch is going to say, no, we're not waiting for justice here. We're going to take care of this right here, right now.
Yeah. You stop talking. Could actually tank
or
those
just don't,
3 hits, but
or just don't talk at all, you know.
yeah. Narat not going to take chances because that was a high roll on Narat's side.
Yeah, at this level, it's just possible. It's like you get bad luck. It's like it might get enough. Wave goodbye to Cecil. We're not going to see him anymore in the seed. He got his little moment to shine here in the mirror chamber, and that's it.
He gets to give a speech, but the band is playing. Does not realize when it's not his turn to keep talking.
Well, you know, Dark Knight's one of the best manners. What can you do?
You know that in reality shows how like if they want to portray somebody as a buffoon while they're talking, they'll start to have tubas play underneath like boom, 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 boom. That should probably be playing under the Dark Knight.
Unfortunately, Golbez doesn't have the budget for a band this season. DJ Spoony B was the best we could get, only because he's doing it for free.
That is nice that he does that, because some of those tunes really make his fingers bleed.
To be quite honest, little secret here, Golbez kind of stuck him in that bed there. That's kind of why it's been for free. We're basically treating him in the bed. That's why he's playing.
Well, he did have a rock on his chest that he needed to get off of it, and with an adamant rock. What's the free key item?
I'm gonna say if you're sleeping on an adamant rock in the bed, you kind of deserve whatever pain you get out of that. You see samurai arrows for sale here in this Baron shop that BG Rich is in. So samurai arrows and party bow, pretty powerful combo.
And Black Robe for sale for both Rydia and Palom, and I think they're gonna have to fight over it.
It's going to Palom. Sorry, I mean,
Rydia's
too young for something like that.
Not a fair fight.
Meanwhile, Nurukad found the Sylph summon in the Agart shop, which is a place we don't necessarily visit because the crowd's guaranteed. So, checking out these shops, see if there's anything interesting in here.
And
karate.
Yeah, and a Thunderclaw in the weapon shop as well that he picked up.
All right, so nice bit of stuff here.
Yeah, really nice trip to Agart. Really paying off well for him. That Sylph summon would have been phenomenal about 15 minutes ago. It'll still be useful.
Yeah, that's one of the unfortunate things about shops. You don't check. No do-overs on those.
Yeah. Well, BG Rich is down in the waterway. Narukat's going to check out the Baron shop, and while they're both doing that, do want to thank our restreamer Joker Mage, our tracker Rydia Caller. Rydia playing an important role for both of these runners. It's just a coincidence. And again, thank you to Garen for shepherding us through this and explaining why exactly that Golbez needs an attorney.
He needs an attorney because, you know, season 1 happened.
Listen, kids, take it from me. It's always better to call one before you think you need one.
I wouldn't probably call the traffic ticket attorney, though, before you actually need that. That kind of would imply guilt.
You can't use that. A nice protect ring from the waterway. And a drain sword for Edge to dart if he ever shows up.
Yeah, we'll see if the prince we still have in the seed will show up in that case, yes.
I believe there was one dark matter in the entire waterway, but not much down there.
Most of the dark matters you see in the sewer are the other type of dark matter, and we don't want anything to do with those.
But BG
All right.
Rich is pouring all the damage here.
You remember what was here?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Octoman.
I was looking at Narat's screen. That's I was a little bit off on that one.
You know, I was bored at night, but not last night. Baron Castle is kind of an underrated place to get treasure. There's a nice little sub-treasury down there. BG Rich not going to check it out. I would think that'd be worth maybe a dark matter or two.
Well, the Dark Elf has moved up in the world. It is the King of Baron today.
And Narat looks equipped for Bear as well with the Sammy Arrow Elven Bow. So what are Dark Elf's kingly proclamations like, you think?
They mostly have to do with bombast and using magnets.
Me raise taxes!
Or just gets out a giant magnet and just collects all the gold that way.
What? How did you get in here?
Anyways, Dark Elf is not the worst thing to see here at the Baron Throne. I mean, there's certainly ruder things that can be here, which is, you know, Golbez, for example. This Dark Elf, though, we're going to stop it, and it's just going to sit there and take it.
Stop it! Stop it! Yeah, the dragon form of the Dark Elf, very well behaved, because when we say stop, it stops.
There's some venom on the Dark Elf. That's a different one.
I don't know that I've ever seen venom used in Free Enterprise. And some mage swag from BG Rich. Gets the crumble.
I haven't seen mage used very often in Free Enterprise either.
Yeah,
right,
BG Rich having some fun in Baron Castle. We'll get to meet another character and see if that character could persuade BG Rich to give up on this party. That's a cane.
Well,
And
we're saying
Tia
goodbye to
is the one who's
Rydia.
afraid. Yeah. And both twins are here. Nothing bad can happen.
Well, I don't think
Oh,
they're
no.
doing the... We're
Dark
gonna use the
Elf!
Dark Elf and what, a spear?
Yeah, the White Spear, I believe. Or maybe the Murasame. Yeah, Dark Elf came back from defeat at the throne to sacrifice himself.
And we've
So BG
liberated
Rich-
Baron Castle, and we've gotten our hook, finally.
Yeah, it takes care of one of the objectives, now 1/5 of the way, and gonna check who's in the basement here.
Yeah, summon spots aren't on, so this might be actually a look at the treasury. I don't know.
Not even gonna check any chests. If there is a free boss here, then that would be a big boost of EXP in a way that you can't really get it any other way. Bahamut.
This is free-ish, but it's going to take a bit.
BG Rich was thinking about it. Really thinking about it, but...
Yeah, I mean, Starveils make that free, but you have to actually wait long enough for the Bahamut to get through 2 cycles to get enough damage out.
Yeah, and Starveils, when you're waiting that long, just have a tendency of falling off at the worst time. A lot of things can go wrong, and BG Rich deciding the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
Uh, Park's right by Elven Castle. Besides, that is, or is it? Are we squeezing this castle? Oh, right, the adamant armor that we have from the Pink Tail. That's a good
Yeah.
remembering there.
Yeah, I almost forgot about the pink tail. The pink tail was from Baron Inn, and the hook was from Baron Castle. So, Baron in the adamant armor exporting business.
That's why they lost
Ner-
the war.
Narat is through. Took for him becoming a pig, but no problem. And that is a vanilla adamant armor from PG Rich.
Yep. That'll make the seat a little bit easier. We'll see where that adamant armor happens to go. Given our party selection at the moment, I would imagine this is going probably on Palom, but we'll see. It's still gonna say no to Elblin Castle for the time being.
A dark matter right in the front of Cave Evelyn, and another one. Nicely done. Beachy Rich, I haven't been keeping track, but it seems like he must have maybe 13, something like that.
There's a Leviathan summon here on Hourglasses. We'll see if we get a look at this inventory to get a dark matter count update. Looks like I saw 13 there.
Yeah, I didn't see what it was, but not wanting to give up some of his precious
There it is,
stuff.
13.
Yes, 13.
Ah! I was gonna sell the adamant armor there. That would've been nice.
That would get you a lot of money, but I don't think that's worth it. Narat having 7 dark matters according to his inventory.
Right,
Yeah,
so BG
that would be an instant reset selling the adamant armor. Like, I don't care how far back my save is.
Have you ever seen that happen on stream where someone sells it?
I do not remember ever seeing that, no.
I mean, I know I've seen it bought on stream before. I guess if you have 6, you might sell one, but...
Not much of interest there. A
No.
cat claw could be something. And
Yeah, I mean, they'll make her Yang a little bit better here. Since Yang is stubbornly the one character who refuses to play by everybody else's physical damage rules, he has to have his own set of rules because I guess when you're a monk and you're going to eventually take over as king or something like that, you need your own set of rules.
PG Rich took the first 2 chests, doesn't want to risk running into the stalemate, so was going to be very judicious about what he takes from here until he can get to that save point.
We're about to see who the character is down here at the hook route, and also get a peek at who the boss is that's at the second spot of it.
Yeah, this hook route a little less intimidating than it was a few minutes ago with that adamant armor, with all that EXP, and with an edge.
Yep, with an evil wall happened to block our way. Probably not as rude as it was at the first spot, so that's not the worst in the world.
So usually evil wall is advancing, and this time evil wall retreated.
We'll see if PG Rich keeps the edge, or yeah, it's gonna keep edge. Or says goodbye to Yang.
I think just picked up that cat claw for him too. So we'll see if Edge can utilize that. No, it doesn't have a cat claw in his inventory, so never mind. A middle sword and an assassin sword will get the job done for now.
Always good to give your ninja an assassin dagger. That's nice.
gonna check for some more chests. There's a self-summon for free. Too bad Rydia is gone, and she ain't coming back.
You could find another one along the way. It's always possible. Not
We
guaranteed,
could.
though.
But yeah, she's not hanging out in the Tower of Wishes. The buy flag is on.
But once again, we didn't have the budget to use the Tower of Wishes. The rental fee was too high.
Yeah, this is a reality show. It's not a game show. We don't have a green room. Ooh, and BG Rich putting the adamant armor on edge.
We have a green screen? I forgot about that one.
And so, what would Garen, with this particular flag set, you get no EXP from encounters. Do you want to take on the Mad Ogres here?
I mean, when I run these seeds, I would probably take it in most circumstances. But there are cases where it's like if I'm feeling behind, it's like unless I need an adamant armor or some sort of nice weapon, or it's looks like it's a nasty hook crouch boss, I might skip this. Narat finds another Artie bow sitting here in the Evelyn Cave. It's Yara.
That's very nice.
And spear or sword? I didn't see which one it was.
Just a drain sword.
And sword. Okay.
And Narat runs into the Stalemen.
It has hourglasses though, so this is not bad as long as that cane does not get knocked out.
They hurt if they get to punching.
Yeah, but hourglasses come out, so they will not be doing any punching now going forward.
Leviathan in the first spot for BG Rich. This is a really good place to see Leviathan.
Yes, the magic is weak in this location, whereas the physical is kind of high, but Leviathan doesn't punch at all. So,
Nope.
Nothing really to worry about here. I mean, the Ice 2s are not going to, well, on Adamant Edge, yeah, they're not doing it at all, but...
on Ada Edge. Edgement? I'll get it.
Did you know that Edge sometimes decides to use V for a first initial?
No.
Yeah, he goes by Advantage.
A nice Dragoon glove from Narat. Sorry, Karen, I couldn't even begin to sell that. And Leviathan is sushi'd. And
if you didn't want to buy my other joke, you can buy a wall instead.
And BG Rich gonna go back for the safety save. Don't blame him at all for that. This evil wall is scary. One of the worst bosses you can find along the hook route. Narat making the same call, getting rid of that Yang for Edge. Only one Clawhaver per party. And so, the fight begins. Evil Wall advancing pretty fast in this spot. Edge doing about 1,000 damage a pop. And you
We'll do a
assume
bit better with the Berserk, but
yeah,
still be slow.
yeah, it will be free if you can start swinging hard enough to do the damage before the crush phase. Although the adamant protects against crush, doesn't it? Yeah. So it is a free fight with that adamant armor. It's just a matter of how quickly they can get through it.
Yeah, fast but slow.
Narakad's Silver Hammer. It's one of the less successful Beatles songs. Not too many Dark Matters down on this hook route. I believe I've seen one.
I don't remember how the fill algorithm works on Dark Matters, but I think if you usually find about 1 or 2 in a location, by time to move on to the next spot and instead of trying for more. I remember how that works, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it's sorcery to me. And Narakad will...
Computer code can be sorcery, yes.
Narakad will take on the Mad Ogres in the last place you can find them.
They're always in the last place you find them, because then you stop looking.
And I believe that Kane has the adamant armor for Narakad, so a little bit of divergence there. And is that a mute knife on Kane? That was Bafo damage.
It probably is, considering the damage going on there.
I feel asleep. My favorite line from any of the Zelda games. And the wall comes crumbling down, and the wall comes rumbling, rumbling, and the wall comes tumbling, tumbling down. I wonder if the wall is also going to go through the pitfall.
No, the pitfall is only reserved for party-sized holes. Hall's a little bit too big to fit down there. But it is undefeated. We see that there is... Yang has decided to hide out in the tower. Alright.
Yeah. Hanging out staring at a wall. You know, I've had days like that. But, you know, BG Rich has the tower key in hand. Could go straight back up the tower and never have to fly the Falcon at all.
Pass and go and collecting 200 gold.
And it's not like there are any other, you know, any other objectives to do right. I think that's as good a way as any, a keyful tower.
A keyful tower isn't quite as exciting as a keyless tower, because, I mean, you know, a little bit less drama. It's a reality show.
Tower. And it looks like that's what BG Rich has in mind.
Yep, not a bad play at all.
I mean, I absolutely love it, because one of the things I can't stand is juggling airships. And, you know, if you can get the Enterprise back, you know, feeling bad, just want the Enterprise back. Well, you can get it back just by completing the tower. Never have to mess with the Falcon at all.
So what I'm hearing is that you have a bit of airship preference.
You know, if they gave the Falcon at the beginning, I'd be okay with that. Just, I only need one. They're the same thing.
Oh.
More vanilla. Dark Imps in this spot, really a waste of them. And is that flame? Ed is going to show you how.
Yeah, well, apparently our camera operators have been incinerated now, so if the picture's a little bit blurry later on, they manage. Yes. Yeah, free the Enterprise, indeed.
The Steadicam is a little less steady with without the Dark Imp's guiding hand.
Yes, but at least in the good news, B-Church is not going to lose Yang by setting off the cannon here.
No, I think he was preparing himself for this eventuality by saying goodbye to Young early.
We're not saying goodbye to Yang early, we're actually going up to meet Yang right now.
Oh, that's true. He's up at the top. The cannon room explosion can't get to him up here.
Or maybe this is just the Yang from the other seed, and we have a multiverse going on.
Could be. Once you start getting into the multiverse, I start to lose the plot pretty quickly. But
no, there's no need to lose the plot. We just have to go, whose Yang is it anyways?
Well, this Yang, I don't know whose he is, but I know what is his. A lot of HP up here. Not particularly fast, not particularly powerful, but just have to whittle away at everything. Set Edge to work. Berserk him. You'll get him down eventually, but it'll take a minute.
You already started that description. I thought we were talking about King there. Yeah, so Karate Man isn't looking like there's gonna be much damage up in this spot.
Yeah, not much. Even with a big sword that he never gets any other time. Might be enough to do Palaman before the day is done, but now Edge will get set to start attacking. Gonna take about 12 of those.
Plenty of time to get Palom back up.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should get Palom back up here.
Palom has virus. That's not good enough. Gonna slow him down a little bit.
Do I have to do the Peyton Manning thing where it's like I sort of indicate multiple times like get Palom up, get Palom up?
I thought you meant do the Peyton Manning thing where you just yell Omaha.
Something about cutting meat and something like that. Anyway.
Yes. Raise that kid. Raise that kid. Well, Forum gained some levels.
This is true. It's a sand ruby. It's one for the pile, but I mean, maybe if there's a nice character like maybe a Fu.
Yeah, Fu is available and restricted, and I believe guaranteed to show up, as you said earlier. So that is 7 key items for BG Rich, with a possible 8th to come. And Narat, with Kane standing tall, Kane does not betray Narat today. He gets through and takes down that wall.
We have to talk with our scriptwriters on that. That should not have happened there.
I mean, the number one rule is you establish a character, and then when the character does their twist, it has to be earned. And, Kane hasn't earned betraying his traitorous self.
Never heard about having to earn betrayal. I mean, that sounds a little bit weird, but okay. This is why I'm not a Hollywood scriptwriter.
And there is our favorite airship, the Enterprise, coming to collect us and give us the pan. So really, everything's setting up quite nicely here.
The Enterprise's oil pan has been taken by the engineer, who is pretending that it's Sheila's pan, apparently. So if the Enterprise happens to blow an engine later on in the seed, it's all the engineer's fault.
BG Rich immediately going to turn in that pan. Remember, Yang will not give us a key item here, but Sheila might give us 2.
Very true. The Sylph over here might give a nice item, depending on what it's feeling like today.
Boing.
Still says you get a defense sword, which is just a dartable in this seed because, well, actually, no, wait, a king can use it. That's right.
Oh, sure. It's Kane's best weapon.
One of his two best, yes. Sometimes you might like a white spear instead, but it's very good for Kane.
And Narat going to take on the trap chest here as well. Doing some dark matter hunting, but Tower of Babel, not a great place to do it because there are just so many trap chests around.
Yep, there are 4 on the way around the tower, and as the alert showed us there, magic is not a good idea against alerts. They have kind of high magic defense, so that Twin Cast was worth 1 HP, and another dog. And it's just a crystal shield. Womp womp.
Yo, dog, I heard you like dogs, so I gave you a dog with your dog.
Arch Freebie gives us a rat tail. That's another potential check to do
more
on the way back up to our Sheila.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. More vanilla. Does someone have a vanilla counter going here? I know it's at least 3.
Oh, it's been quite a few. It's been 3 in the underground. Edge on the Hook route, Dark Imps in the Cannon Room, and the Rat Tail from that.
And Baron Guards in the inn, so that might be 4.
Yep.
Anyways, randomizer broken, no refunds.
Nope. Nope. Joker Mates just forgot to hit the randomize button. Sorry.
Didn't roll it.
I'm trying to get you off the hook, man.
Is that an adamant armor I just saw there?
I from that alert.
Yeah, from that alert.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, there's a dark matter from the bed. That would be really, really nice for Narat. That would make this fishing expedition worth it.
Yep, that is the second adamant.
Yep, and that goes on edge.
We see a CPU and some kind of leg here in the Fame Arch. They don't have any key items, so we're going to just leave those 2.
Yeah. If I see that, they see my back because I'm leaving.
Kind of an odd couple. You kind of wonder how that one came together.
Well, no matter how much leg you have, you need to connect to the internet somehow.
I'm going to wisely just leave that one sitting right there and move on to something else. We're going to get that rat tail checked in on BG Rich's side, and hopefully we get a progression here in some fashion. If not, we're going to go to Sheila and demand the goods.
Another dartable.
Apparently, the guy here at the Adamant Cave decided that he's a smith.
Yes.
Giving out a vanilla forge item that won't be given out down elsewhere.
Now checking in on Sheila.
Yes, our hopes are on Sheila. In Sheila we trust. Is it worth it?
Now, with the no EXP flag on, how important do you think is 10 key items here, in and of itself, to get double experience from what you can?
I mean, it certainly helps. It depends on if... Oh, there's a darkness crystal. That's kind of important. You needed that in order to get to Z in the first place. That is required on Sheila 1. Sheila 2 just gives us Artie arrow, so now Artie is a thing. Really useful for that doot if we hadn't already dooted it.
Yes. And so, there's Dwarf Castle in the underground. Other than that, it looks like a lot of what we need is on the moon.
Well, isn't that going to be fun? That means you have to dive the moon, find what you need, go back to Earth, finish all that stuff, then go back to the moon.
Yeah.
Because again, no pass because the production team has a bit of a twisted sense of humor.
Although, Luca came also around. Hey, you called it, Garen. That's a mop in the bed.
With a Stardust Rod in the pot right outside the house.
Ooh. It's raining, it's pouring, the Lunarian is snoring, and all that time and investment into that Quake kid only to be replaced by a mop.
It's a mature mop, though. It doesn't need to learn anything spell-wise. It's already ready to go. So it may not be a Swiffer, it may not clean your house, but it will definitely clear monsters.
Narat takes care of his karate lessons at the top of the tower. Among the many reasons that our runners might wish they had a Cecil, to take advantage of the X-Cal, a Cecil would have made that karate fight much, much faster.
Just because Cecil knows where the weak points of Yang are, Ether 1's and a mallet for sale.
Mallets!
Apparently we're in the Kid Icarus shop. And Nirukad will get the Enterprise back, and we'll see if Nirukad follows in the path of BG Rich or goes someplace else entirely.
Yeah, I mean, the path of BG Rich, definitely a very defensible path, kind of the most key item dense, so it's certainly a thought for Nirukad to kind of go the same way. And BG Rich going to go to Dwarf Castle for the one key item here. Do a little more shopping. Could potentially run around and find some more dark matters here too.
Yes, especially if we decide to check some of the out-of-the-way places in this Dwarf Castle, which have chests in the towers and in the underground passageways and all over the place.
I haven't seen how many dark matters BG Rich has. If I had to guess, I'd say something like 16. Narrowcad has 11, as his inventory just showed.
Yep, a little bit of reshuffling on BG Rich's part. We have a Lunar Sparkle here. So,
well, good thing he saved. So, we've only seen one Sparkle so far, and that was Pale Dim.
Well, let's see. Will this be a Wyvern or something maybe a little bit more terrible here? It's the Luna.
Yeah.
These bones.
Does have, Edge certainly more comfortable swinging the swords. This might be a chance to get rid of some of the darts in the inventory.
Or, we have Fu. Fu's Nuke and Quake. These are going to go back to the Stone Age very quickly here.
Yeah, they're going to turn into oil.
And no contest here, so...
Yep. And Kane's going to be left behind, up in the air.
That's one way
He's
to
never
replace
going to come
character.
back down.
Is he freaking out?
Did he ever return? No, he never returned. That his fate is still unlearned. He may fly forever in the Dwarven Castle. He's the man who never returned. That is a blue robe of some kind. And there's another mop.
So, would you like a water hag to go with your mop?
Well, Anna is on to deliver her lines. This is the one scripted part of our reality show. And so how much is Golbez paying Anna, you think?
Well, considering that he kind of killed Anna in the first place, bit of a touchy subject.
Yeah. Probably working for scale. Well, luckily, Water Hag knows how to say his line convincingly as well. Arg! It goes down.
It's an animatronic. I mean, we're just hoping that it keeps working for the rest of the season.
The budget is the budget.
Yeah, couldn't afford completely real monsters either, so we're kind of making do. Speaking of which, we have a costume here for you later. It's the wyvern costume. When that shows up, would you mind?
Oh, you want me to double dip? Let's see if my my contract allows that. And there is Kane's other great weapon, a white spear. Not what BG Rich was looking for there.
Well, Arcane is set now.
Yeah. So, our runners either need, and BG Rich specifically, either needs a Legend Sword or a Twin Harp to technically be in go mode.
That's true, because the giant and the white spear altar are on the table. And the dark matters, I mean,
they're scattered somewhere.
Technically, it's like you probably have access to all the ones you need. It's just a case of where are they.
Yeah. And you have to like go searching in, for example, Tower of Zot, or start opening all the boxes in Cave Magnus without a Twin Harp. You have to open all the boxes in Luca Cave. And
all the boxes, just enough to get 2 dark matters in each location. Once you get 2, it'd probably be advisable to just simply warp out.
Yeah.
So a little divergence here. BG Rich is going to dive the sealed cave, and Irokad is off for the moon.
Yeah, both a defensible play. I do like BG Rich's play because the Luca Cave is the last area really on the blue planet that you can do before heading off to the moon, unless it leads to another kind of chaining key item, and that's a risk I would take.
Yep, we still have an Earth Crystal and a Twin Harp out there. Twin Harp being required out of those 2.
And Narrowcat says, "To space!"
Well, no, not to space, to the moon!
And the moon is where?
The moon is in space, but it isn't space itself.
Ah. It's a fine hair you're splitting here. Coffins for sale, and Narrowcat picks up a stack.
For you need coffins, always.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of hair splitting, I mean, come on. This is being run by a lawyer from Golbez, and Golbez. What are you expecting here? Be honest.
That is a Twin Harp. BG Rich is in go mode.
Yep, just has to fight whatever is here.
Yes. Definitely has to. Not free. Although, dolls with an hourglass, very handleable. And also, you know, with a foo with Quake.
And meanwhile, the dolls apparently just attracted to crystals. They were going after the crystal in the Dwarven Castle, and now they're going after the crystal that's normally here.
Sure. Ooh. And BG Rich coming dangerously close to having a big doll. The Quake quickly cleans that up, and there is Rosa on the moon. A little bit too late. For Narat, who will head on down.
He was apparently a very good negotiator, considering that he managed to negotiate going down to the blue planet and left Rosa over there on the moon to just guard all of the Lunarians.
It's a tough job. She's always been selfless.
And meanwhile, Fu just retires to, well, not Florida in this case, but, Free has a nice little villa somewhere on island here.
Narat's in real trouble here. Behemoth is nothing to mess with and just opened up this chest. As Narat found out, hourglasses do not work, and they hit back hard.
Are we seeing out-of-life pots?
Ooh. Yeah, BG Rich, technically in Go mode, because the 30 Dark Matters, I think, are available because we have basically the entire world open to us. You only have to do 5 of the 6 goals, so you don't need the Legend Sword. It does mean you have to do the Giant. It does mean you have to do the White Spear Altar.
Yes.
And
I think
did get that EXP, did get through that Behemoth. Nicely done.
Yeah, as far as the V Church isn't going, I'd say he's probably more in like oh no mode, because it's like, okay, technically you have access to the 5 of the 6, but it's like the looting that's required to bring that Dark Matter to completion is probably going to be longer than doing a couple checks. It becomes a question of how long do you think it's going to take to get the last Dark Matters versus getting, let's say, the Legend Sword.
Yeah. Yeah, do you want to open chests, or do you want to first do your checks on the blue planet? I mean, with the Twin Harp in hand, BG Rich absolutely has to follow that up. I don't think he really has any choice there. Assuming you don't get the Legend Sword out of this, do you then want to open chests, or do you want to start digging in the moon?
Well, I mean, I would probably go into the moon regardless, because there's an objective up there,
Right.
and it might potentially have your Legend Sword. I mean, any one of these Twin Harp or White Spirit locations could be gating your Legend Sword, potentially.
Well, Fu does himself a favor and nukes himself to bring Dark Elf's reign to a speedy end, and that gets the headliner out more quickly.
Also voids his life insurance, but that's a little bit of a thing. Life insurance companies been collecting premiums for a few centuries here, so, we will be quiet and let you listen to some lovely tunes from DJ Spoony B.
That was a lovely rendition of the tune from Chrono Cross. And BG Rich gets the spoon for his efforts, as well as gaining that objective. Now has 2 of the 5 objectives complete. Narat, meanwhile, defeating Kainatsu, getting another Excalibur, which that's a lot of Excaliburs that we've seen in this season.
Yep, which just means Edge has plenty of things to dart at Z or whatever other boss needs some quick HP shrinkage, if you will.
Yeah, I don't know the name of that song from Chrono Cross, but BG Rich did pull it up.
Radical Dreamers is what the screen said.
Yes. The entire soundtrack to Chrono Cross, so beautiful, and the sequence on the MIDI harp is so good. Great to hear.
Yes.
And BG Rich is off to the moon.
We are more likely to have a sequel at this point on Survivor Hero Island than Chrono series is apparently. We'll keep hoping here.
Hang on tight, Garen! We're taking this baby to the moon!
I don't know if you can call the big whale a baby, but okay, we'll go with this.
The same way you could call a car or a boat a baby. Whatever you gotta take. Narat going straight to the bottom. Gonna forego the white spear for now. And go where the treasures are. And Plague is hot desking today, moving 1 room over.
Well, it's an upgrade in HP for the Plague. Not necessarily great to see here.
And so BG Rich not going to waste any time here, going to go directly for the Giant. Now this is an interesting play.
Yeah, I mean, if one or both of these bosses is free, this is going to get a lot of levels and sort of forgo the grind that Narat's just been doing. On the other hand, if this is super rude and BG Rich has to back out, it's going to be a very good cost in time.
And there are quite a few rude bosses still out there. We have not seen Vigan, or Wyvern, or Ogopogo, or Golbez.
If you see a heroine robe here on the Giant, that might make it worth the trip.
Yeah, gonna open all these chests. No dark matter here yet. And that last arm still lurking out there, although that's certainly not a concern for BG Rich at these levels.
Does run into it finally.
Yeah, an opportunity to get another Excalibur. Why not?
It'll be a crystal sword this time.
The thing you can't dart.
Everybody needs a Ven stick.
Like a Ven stick? Like a stick you sell?
Yes.
And last arm, serving up a superfood special, fishing chips.
Hey,
Oh, that's an adamant armor.
That's probably worth it.
Certainly is. Narat is through. Gets the Legend Sword. And now Narat's in go mode.
If you want to count the Dark Matters as go mode, I think some people might disagree with that approach, but
yeah, and Narat, I think, really behind on Dark Matters here.
Yes. Again, look at BG Rich's count. 17.
17. Narat probably at 13 or so.
Yeah, it's still like to be easy for BG Rich. I mean, that's probably at least several locations, probably at least 4 to 6 in order to get the right amount.
Well, there's a Witchburn for you. Wyvern doesn't trust his own wings, so he casts float.
Well, it does get rid of the Quake strategy if that was in play here.
Yeah. And yeah, instead of we'll have to find another way to get around that wall.
Speaking of walls, we have found a comedian in the first spot of the giant down here.
Well, how often is it that the host of the reality show puts themselves like in the position to deliver the bad news? That's what Golbez is doing here.
It takes out the cane and the Porum.
Probably the best he can hope for.
White Spear altered on Narat's side. There's an Earth Crystal there. So that gives us access to the treasury kind of late. And it also gives us choice of characters again if we were still looking for characters in the seed. I don't think we are, but it is possible there. We know it's a Zonk because where the Twin Harp is, and that's sitting in the sealed cave.
You know, an underrated part of why Golbez is so annoying in this spot is the magic power isn't all that high, so Golbez is not contributing all that much to his own downfall.
This is just him learning strategy. It's like, you know, if you've been hitting yourself in the face enough times, you learn to stop hitting yourself in the face so hard.
Yeah. Ogopogo in the vanilla spot. This is a heck of a moon. All the sparkles are here.
But once again, budget limitations. We never might move everything around.
Ooh, BG Rich gonna try and psych Golbez out here. To get some MP. It's a move that I don't see people make all that often. I always wonder why. Probably because it's taking a long time.
Yeah, I mean, Golbez has a lot of hit points here, and our damage is not great.
Yeah, but that instead of using an either, that psych gave Boot enough MP to throw another nuke on Golbez, and Golbez is down. Why?
The comedy show had to come to an end sometime, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Golbez has been playing at the Free Enterprise Theater since 1991. I mean, after 33 years, you kind of think you need some new material.
Yeah, you're due for a bomb or two. And that's what those nukes were. And meanwhile, Narocot absolutely filleting that Ogopogo. Makes it look easy. And can get underground.
Meme that will not die.
Yeah, and those Star Veils did last a long time on BG Rich's side, and that's part of why BG Rich didn't even bother reviving the other two, because those two taking turns would have been counters that might have made the Star Veil slip off a little earlier.
You like punchy bosses?
Another tough one. This is a tough giant. BG Rich did get through Golbez without much in the way of trouble. He gets one free nuke off against Vigan in the middle before that wall goes up.
Yep, we have Porum down.
Don't worry though. Don't worry about Porum. He'll still get experience.
Vampire doesn't do very much in this location, so that's good to see.
Sometimes it just feels good to jump on an enemy. I've always found that attack from Kane just kind of viscerally satisfying as a player. You know, I jumped up really high and then I came down on you. That's why the jump wacky is so much fun.
I'll take your word for it.
So, you ever want to see an Ashura that doesn't have much to offer? Here it is, Ashura in the Crystal Sword Altar. The magic power here, pretty pathetic.
With the exception that Cure 4 is Cure 4 no matter where it happens to be, even if your
That's
magic
true.
power is literally 1.
And that's why the wall is up for Narat. Better safe than sorry.
There are some runners in this community who do not subscribe to that particular philosophy.
Edge comes to escort BG Rich off the Giant, but that is another objective.
Indeed. So now, if you are BG Rich, I think if you know your key item hunts, you can either, at this point, go to the moon, clear out the rest of it, or park from here at Agric, but I don't think BG Rich has 30 yet.
No, BG Rich definitely does not have 30. Maybe shopping for something. Wants life potions.
I think 40 is a bit overkill for what we've got left in the seed, but,
Oh, how's the catch?
Avenger over on Nerocod's side, that'll be nice for that Kane.
And BG Rich updating us 17 Dark Matters. Still needs 13 to go. Which seems...
Yeah.
It seems like BG Rich has done quite a bit of looting already.
Yeah, so the question here is, I think, BG Rich have anything left on the Earth at all? I think maybe the Dwarf Castle, and that's about it.
Does have Tower of Zot. Didn't do any looting in Cave Magnus or Luca Cave, really. But wouldn't want to backtrack if he doesn't have to.
True, but the Legend Sword we found on the moon, did we not?
It was in the Vanilla Ribbon room.
Yeah, so unless you want to stay on the Earth and pull up another 13 Dark Matters, you are backtracking at some point from this moon.
Yeah.
Unless you want to annoy a CPU somewhere and have it open a dimensional portal and literally yank you moon to Earth in one fell swap.
Yeah, I think the play, knowing what we know, I think the play pretty clearly is to go for that objective, that White Spear altar, and then see what else is around at the bottom. And right next door, you're going to run into that Legend Sword. You'll have to make another long moonwalk, but I think that's faster than trying to scour the entire universe for 13 more Dark Matters at this point.
Yes, disclaimer, do not run into Legend Swords. It is not recommended if you try that at home.
No, do not point your Legend Sword at anything you are not prepared to forge. And it looks like BG Rich is going to do precisely that. Not point the Legend Sword at something, I mean, precisely what we were talking about. Narat gets the late night show. The encore performance of Golbez.
Which era of the late night show is this?
The one where Golbez just laughs at his own jokes? It's Fallon.
Aha.
Those adamant armors protect Edge and Kane.
Once again, what I'm seeing here is there's a need for a child-sized adamant armor.
Yeah, leaving the poor kids to fend for themselves. And
Shadow
eventually gets the message and definitely not picking on someone his own size.
Problem is, none of the sprites on the good side are large enough for that to be the case.
No. So, it is kind of mean that Shadow keeps on picking on us.
George has opted for a top-down approach. This is going to be the Mura altar first, where we had that lovely troll show up earlier.
Yes. And BG Rich is going to have turtle soup.
Yeah, I mean, I would honestly prefer a turtle steak as opposed to a turtle soup, but, you know, I guess we'll go with what we got.
Yeah, just look at that damage that White Spirit Kane is putting out on Golbez.
And Golbez gives a Y, nice and early, because for whatever reason, when you wear a bunch of dark armor, it tends to not go well with holy weapons.
Yeah, must have stayed out past his curfew. And Narat is through that. And so Narat, Narat still has a path in this race. Gets through the giant, and then presumably would go underground to the Chocobo Forge, I would think. Get that objective done. And then the Dwarf Castle is right there. Or, sorry, Dwarf Castle is right there, and so is Luca Cave, and it's really going to come down to which Narat wants to do first.
Indeed. We kind of know that the Luca Cave is the place you want to go, but
yeah, that's our benefit. I would think, you know, I'm trying not to say this just knowing the answer, but Luca Cave, I think, is a quicker path to find out what the key item is. You have to fight through the two bosses in Dwarf Castle to even see what you're fighting for. In Luca Cave, all you have to do is walk down. If you don't like it, you instantly reset out. You don't have a boss hunt. You have no reason to see who the boss is.
Well, this is why we rely on spies and scripts, right?
Yeah, it'd be a lot easier if I just knew all these things beforehand.
If you come to the production meetings, you'd know what's going to happen.
Edge meeting his doppelganger in the giant.
Okay, which Edge is the real one? What do you mean they both are?
Kill him! I'm the real Edge. BG Rich going to go to the Crystal Sword altar, and we know that this won't get him what he wants either.
You know what he wants?
We know he wants the Legend Sword. I mean, I'm sure BG Rich has a lot of other things he desires in this world, but that's what he wants most permanently for our purposes.
Narat is going to give us the forge first, though, and show us what the reward is from this. So it's going to be a weapon that Porum can wield, which means it's probably going to be the Nirvana staff, I would imagine, but let's be something else.
Any reason you would look at the shop here in the forge?
If I wasn't totally set on gear, I might do that. We're gonna look anyways. We have ribbons, life staffs, Murasame all steel, and Zeus gloves. It's a nice little shop.
Yeah, not bad at all.
And we don't need to really conserve money at this point anymore because I think our shopping is pretty much done aside from here.
BG Rich going to go for the more aggressive strategy, and that is a Nirvana staff. As you said.
So 4 down, 1 to go.
Well, it's now Porum's duty to completely drain you with that Nirvana staff.
Kids, if you're ever trying to form an adventuring party, try to treat one of the other people in the party as a battery.
What if they get a charge out of it, though? Well, while we're both shaking that off and preparing for the home stretch, do want to thank our restreamer, Joker Mage, our tracker, Rydia Caller, and thank you, Garen. Give all those folks a follow, as well as our runner, Narat, and BG Rich for putting on this great show for you tonight. It really is something special to be able to bring you both on Twitch and on YouTube a fun race like this in a really fun club, Survivor Hero Island, and we are really looking forward to the stretch here. BG Rich and Narat both very, very close. BG Rich, in fact, coming up on the 2 rooms that will give him the crystal. But this race is not over yet, as Narat very close to getting that twin harp that will allow him to get the crystal, and of course, with a 4-member party, Zeroma's never a given.
Yeah, it causes weird things to the turn order and the agility setups in there, so always a little more challenging. I mean, Foo and Friends, for example, is generally speaking a lot harder to pull off. There's only 4 people in the party, as are full reflect strats, just because Z's taking turns a little bit more often, and it can really mess things up. You find that Narat is running into one of these mops and is saying no to the mop. Just say no.
Yeah, too late for the mop.
Never too late for the mop when you have to level it, but it is kind of late for the mop.
It's too late, the mop is nice. It's too late. BG Rich got to experience Wyvern giving himself little tiny wings. Tiny wings.
Well, having a dragon that can fly is kind of nice, but this Wyvern is not going to be doing any flying anytime soon. It is a Kyle of Ash.
Yeah, that Wyvern is grounded, and BG Rich does get that Earth Crystal. Does that tempt him away from the moon? I don't think it does.
I wouldn't think so, because there's at least 2 checks like right next door.
Yeah.
I mean, this late in the game too, it's like first crystal. That's 2 bosses for 1 check, with a lot of cutscenes. It's probably a last location if it's actually the answer is there. We know it's not, but in a live race, I can't see too many people actually choosing that.
No, and in fact, he will go next door. This will give him the Legend Sword. It is Plague, and can we see Quad Zerk here?
Could. I'm not sure if it's actually going to last long enough to get us there, but we could.
No. Ooh. Gonna use one of those kamikazes with Porum.
Sorry, Porum, you aren't getting out of your contract that easily.
Yep, Porum's gonna fulfill her duty of being resurrected and reset this count. Ooh. Just a little bit too fast for that edge, and a little bit of a hiccup, but BG Rich will recover here.
Yeah, well, the good news about a Plague here is you've got 4 party members, you've got life bots, you can roll it around there.
Gonna try that same strat.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Narat heading into the Luca Cave. The sealed cave beckons, no longer searching for dark matters. It's Twin Harp or Bus for Narat.
Well, the checks are pretty much exhausted for Nerukad's route here, so I think this actually is either the last location or very close to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Narat hasn't explored that Earth Crystal yet.
Okay, so there's one location that will not get searched out then.
Yes. Correct.
See, this eyeball should be pretty close to death now.
So, BG Rich will have to go back down to the blue planet and then have to return to the moon. Narat has to face this boss and then do the whole Twin Harp sequence and then return to the moon.
In fairness, both runners are doing a moon play and then returning, because with the Legend Sword being there, if you didn't do the Dark Matter hunt, you kind of have no choice. You have to do a double dip of the moon. I would find it even more hilarious if at some point someone in one of these races has to do a triple dip of the moon because of the way things are running down there. I wouldn't think it's likely, but it could always seem to work itself around that way.
Yeah, certainly possible.
I would find it funny, although I'm also running the races too, so I would find it a little bit annoying too.
Yeah, people were not meant to just to go to space this often.
Well, they also weren't meant to walk around on the moon without a helmet either, but, you know.
And BG Rich immediately heading back to the blue planet.
Yep, there's no reason to delay this. It's the last objective. It's the start of the Z fight. And BG Rich is done with the level grinding at this point, so it should just be keep and go.
Narat is finished playing with the dolls. Doesn't have a warp caster.
Oh, interesting there. Yeah, you figure when
right,
you got...
I don't think it does.
You're right. I was gonna say, usually when you've got a Palom, a Rydia, and a Fu all in the seed,
Yeah,
One of them usually hasn't.
yeah. He doesn't have a mop. Got rid of it earlier.
Well, I think our infomercial salesman for the mop needs to revise his campaign so that next time around, the mop will be taken.
Well, yeah, the mop is the subject of the infomercial, but you got to keep edge because he slices, he dices, he pulverizes.
Does he clean?
Oh, he cleans up.
Not selling it here. All right,
And
so
Narat.
Nirukad is off to do the Twin Herp, which is the second last check available to them, and oh my. It has been a
Yeah,
world tour tonight on the Survivor Hero Island. It was a two-part special. We're gonna go probably almost 2 hours here on this.
yeah, and possibly a little bit more. Um, Definitely a big sized, finale sized episode. Even though this isn't the finale, is it?
Yeah, actually, this is almost smack in the middle of the season. The season is expected to go 15 races. This is race 8 out of 15. There are 7 before, there are 7 after.
The people are clamoring for more shots of beach life, and that's basically what has happened. Both runners got off to a little bit of a slow start just because we started with a Porum and Rydia, just kind of scratching and clawing for anything we could get, but an adamant armor before the hook route really allowed these runners to kind of go into overdrive, and it was just the key items that were pretty stubbornly hidden.
Uh, yeah, I mean, and also the moon double dip being in there, but speaking of double dips, we got a double dip for some Spoony tunes. So, enjoy, y'all. Not as long of a rendition here on Neurogod's side. Uh, Even though the crystal was awarded before the fight, in this particular room, there's no way out without defeating the boss, so that is why, even with the crystal in hand, we still decided to fight Val.
Yeah, it wasn't because we hated her, although that's part of it.
Yeah, Val is not liked anywhere that Val happens to show up, especially in some locations, and there's no Kane, and there is no hope.
And now Narukad will make a beeline for the whale.
Yep,
And then
but as Nirokai is heading for the whale, Beechurch is already on the way down. So Beechurch will be into the Z fight first, it looks like.
Yep, the BG Rich making that walk, and we're going to be able to see Zeromus tonight.
Actually, every night pretty much in this season of the club because the very first week, somebody decided to be a bit of a comedian themselves and turned the Wind Crystal flag on right after the very first race.
And so, we couldn't bear to be away from him for that long. He's always going to be at the same place, but each time he's going to look a little different. And that's why we got to say, Garen,
whose mind-controlled butt are we gonna kick tonight?
yeah, even with this souped-up party, like Garen was saying, timing can be a little bit off with just 4 folks, so it's certainly not a given, but Narat's going to come into this Z-fight second.
Yeah, not very far behind. Probably about a minute and a half, looks like. Huh.
Greedmas.
You don't think this has a butt?
It looks a little bit like Teddy Roosevelt. At least it has Theodore Roosevelt glasses, I think.
I don't know. Is that a monocle or I don't know. Very hard to tell. It's very creepy.
It is very creepy. And if this came up during my tarot reading, I definitely would be afraid for my future.
The first mistake was walking in the door and giving them money.
And the first big bang comes out. That'll be nerfed.
Indeed it will, so no real threat there.
It looks like BG Rich is going with a version of that Boo and Friends strat.
If by version of that strat you mean hybrid strats, I think you're right. Because we see that Kane is swinging, Edge is darting, Orem is helping.
Yeah, and Orem not focusing all of her energies on that Boo, so yeah, that is full hybrid. And Narat coming in to the fight now. But BG Rich is putting out lots of damage. We'll see if Zeroma's even getting to the second big bang at this rate.
Oh, there's a shake. Is it the fake shake or is it the real shake?
Fake, fake, fake. Fake, fake, fake.
Hey, you're not finishing that line.
No, I am not. I'm taking a lesson from the pot of greed.
You learned a music lesson from a pot of greed?
And that elixir comes out just in time for Fu to ready the nuke cannon again.
Yep. Still have a spoon we can guard, it looks like, if Edge would like to get rid of some of this cutlery, because we can't take it with us.
But what if there's a boss after this? And you need the spoon for that?
Then the Enrichment Center suggests that you loot the spoon in the next seed.
And Porum gets in on the action. With a white cast. Greedmas has to be near the end here.
I think that spoon is getting a dart in there now, so hopefully that spoon is the coup de grace if this nuke isn't.
A spoon in the teapot. How gauche.
Ghost or not, that is what did it. Crack, bang, boom. So that is the end of the pot of greed.
BG Rich has done it. Takes first place on
Yes,
this restream.
first on the restream. As it turned out, second overall among the racers who aren't named Garen, anyways. But because of the way the club rules work, the winner of the race normally gets to pick a new challenge for their fellow runners the next week, and also gets a choice of blocking something out that can't be changed by the next week's winner. But there's a cooldown on that because it's a little bit boring if the same racer picks every single week due to oversights by the manager of the club, or just lack of foresight in terms of what could go possibly wrong with this model. So even though BG Rich was the second place finisher, was the top finisher who was eligible to make a pick, and was the one who decided to ditch the life because experience just wasn't hard enough already.
Ooh. Yeah, we did see Narat make use of the life glitch with the Mad Ogres and was the source of some much needed levels on that hook route.
Indeed, and but since we also saw that the adamant was extremely useful in this particular seed, BG Rich, when he chose the category to protect, has protected the other category, which is where the no adamant flag is lurking, waiting for somebody to turn it on and ruin everyone else's day. So we know that the adamant armor will continue for at least the next 2 races at this point. We'll make it all the way to the end? We don't know yet. That depends on the racers and what kind of silly moods they are all in, as far as that goes.
Yeah, I appreciate all those GGs in chat for BG Rich. Get him in.
There is no interview tonight because not a live race. So yeah, GG to BG Rich. One of the oldest runners that we have in the Survivor Club, the veteran of Season 1 and of Season 2. So again, props for coming up with a lot of weirdness coming from the club captain over the course of time with the lore of this thing. Also GG to Nirukad, we have the Crack Bang Boom on their end, also with a dart.
Yeah, both runners finishing in style with the dart. Nirukad finishing with an official time of 2 hours, 1 minute 10 seconds. So close. 2 minutes 20 seconds separating these 2 runners. Fantastic.
Indeed. And all the times were pretty close to that within a few minutes one way or the other, so it was definitely a slog of a seed. It was a seed that existed for sure. I'm sure I'll get some commentary about my seed rolling abilities here and where they can go and take themselves. Those who might be interested in joining the club, the week 9 episode is up right now. We actually have our fellow murder child Rydia featuring in this week's seed.
Ooh.
And yeah, I can say that at this point I've not run it yet, so I don't know any more than what's in the spoiler log that gets posted at the part of the week's recap. Although, for those of you who like image art, I think that the picture of Rydia that I was able to get generated for this one is actually kind of interesting. So, if you haven't seen that yet, check her out. And all the rest of the lore in the Survivor Hero Island channel. I try to give it make it worth your time, as it were. So, we still have episode recaps coming up at some point. I do apologize. The real life producer is stuck behind a mountain of work at work, and it's just delayed the episodes ever so slightly. But they will be coming in due time before we get to the playoffs, I think.
Well, it is always worth it to check out the club, Garen, and really appreciate you letting me in to have some fun with you on this VOD. I will say, I think the reality show that best typified this seed, with that required Octomam in the beginning, with that required Leviathan on the hook route, with that Ogopogo in the vanilla spot. It's Squid Game.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind for next time if I'm going for a different reality show to rip off. Um, yeah, it's always a blast to do this with you. At least this time you didn't have to deal with a semi-possessed co-commentator who was playing a comedian for show.
Yeah,
So,
there's something about being sued by your family that humbles you a little bit, and I think that's what happened to Golbez.
I don't think humility is really what he took out of that. Remember, this season is subtitled Golbez's Revenge. Not Golbez's humility or Golbez's apology, that's for sure. I apologize for nothing, by the way. Sorry to all the racers. You should know what you're getting into just with the name of the club. It's Survivor. It is not a Club Med. Sorry.
No, no.
Although we are not as bad as the Bad Ideas Club. This is still a good idea. It's just a twisted idea. I'm
Well,
killing Radio Caller. Okay, well, that's Forum's job. I'm sorry.
well, do want to thank everybody who helps us produce this show. Our restreamer Joker Mage, our intrepid tracker Rydia Caller, and thank you, of course, to the club chair Garen. Garen, here's hoping you never get voted off.
Well, unless they make playable Garen, which I think is even further down the road than playable Golbez at this point, I think there's nothing to really worry about on that side. Because hey, I control the vote. I'm not going to be able to put myself into the voting pool. I mean, that would
Yeah.
just be silly. I'd be voted off, and then we'd be doing something along the lines of, Forum would try running the show, and everyone would get burned down mysteriously.
that and that's kind of what happened tonight, right? Porum was the hero, and this was kind of a fire of a seed for a while, with really a couple of moon trips, a couple of fortuitous adamant armors making things a little bit easier going for our runners, but certainly not easy, but a lot of fun to watch and to commentate on.
Well, make sure you come by for the end of the season when we've got the flags even harder than they are now. I can't wait to see what the runners are going to choose next. Yeah. So, a little housekeeping note. We are actually going to be signing off for the evening, but we do hope you join us tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern for the Lunar Racing Club, which I'm sure is always going to be a ton of fun. We also have the Wacky races coming up at 3 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. So do make sure you come back and join us for those. In the meantime, on behalf of everyone here in the commentary booth, co-commentator Sheep Launcher, Joker Mage, our restreamer, and also resident production manager, it seems, for the club, producing some nice images and stuff behind the scenes, and Rydia Caller for doing our button pushing. It's been a blast. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
So long.